Vices: pride, sloth, greed, gluttony, lust. Since sin entered the world, humans have been subject to being dominated by vices. Each of us has them, and we have all fallen into them. That's why countless thinkers have spoken about them throughout human history. Vices awaken our most irrational side, seduce us, cloud our understanding, and incline our appetite towards the basest passions that humans possess. They even subjugate reason, making you try to convince yourself that the vice is something good, or at least not as bad as one might expect. As you can see, Stoicism stands out as one of the most critical doctrines regarding vices. The Stoics believe that vices nullify a person's reason and freedom, turning the addicted individual into something akin to an animal, enslaved by their instincts and desires. Remember that historical philosophy is nothing more than an unwavering cultivation of virtue, and virtue is nothing less than the rational habit that distances us from vice, leading us to a full and happy life. As you may have already experienced, vices make us tremendously unhappy. They seem to satisfy us fully, but this satisfaction is temporary. When it fades, it leaves only suffering, anguish, and unhappiness. It seems that vices complete us and satisfy us, but, in reality, all they do is empty us and leave a wound in the soul that only virtue can heal. Marcus Aurelius said that vice is its own punishment and is found in its own destruction. Seneca added that vice is the most powerful enemy one can face, but virtue is the best defense against it. In this video, I will try to help you become the master of yourself, control your vices, and ultimately become more virtuous and happy. To do this, I will divide the video into two parts. First, I will explain what vice consists of historically. Then, I will provide 10 pieces of advice for combating vice through virtue. According to Stoicism, vice is morally incorrect and harmful behavior for the person committing it. It is an affliction of the soul that leans toward irrational appetite, distorts judgment, causes suffering, and undermines inner peace and serenity. Examples of vices, as we all know, include vanity, anger, fear, lust, greed, gluttony, and many others. Marcus Aurelius explains what these deviations of the soul consist of. The first and greatest vice is ignorance, and the second is a lack of self-control. Vices are primarily the result of a judgment error derived from a poor exercise of the virtue of wisdom. When we fall prey to vice, our understanding presents us with two alternatives. It either identifies something as good when it is, in fact, bad, or it recognizes something as bad and tries to convince itself that it is good. In both cases, the result is the same. Our understanding becomes clouded and our judgment is compromised. It paves the way for pleasure and desire while privileging momentary enjoyment over true happiness. As a result, we become prisoners of our impulses, which are irrational and selfish, making us more like animals than humans. Those who succumb to vice renounce reason, which defines us as people, and become slaves to their passions. This is a characteristic of animals. Therefore, those who give in to vice exhibit a clear lack of self-love and love for humanity. Besides making us more like animals, vice makes us dependent and manipulable, like slaves to our passions. It nullifies our freedom and renders us incapable of choosing one action over another. When in the grip of vice, others can do with us as they please, easily manipulating us using our weaknesses. Therefore, Marcus Aurelius stated that, after the error of ignorance, vice can be found in the error of a lack of self-control. Reason becomes confused, giving way to pleasure, and we lose the ability to control and direct our passions toward virtue. Desire and virtue, according to a Stoic, are incompatible. Therefore, vices that prioritize desires and distance us from virtue lead us further away from both serenity and a happy life, which are the ends to which every human should aspire. However, we should not think that falling into vice means falling into an irredeemable mistake from which we cannot escape. On the contrary, as Seneca put it, the best medicine for vice is virtue. That's why, as Stoicism emphasizes, it's essential to strive every day to practice it. We must fight to become more rational, more serene, gradually renouncing our vices and gaining self-control. It is a challenging task, but it corresponds to a goal as grand as true happiness. If complete happiness were easy to achieve, it wouldn't be so wonderful or valuable. If you think like the Stoics, you will likely agree with all these ideas. However, you might wonder, even if I agree with this, what concrete steps can I take to overcome my vices in my daily life? Where should I start? This is what I dedicate the second part of this video to, where I will give you some advice on how to combat the tyranny of vices and cultivate virtue. Since you've come this far, I'd like to ask for a brief reflection and, if possible, your comment. This is very important as YouTube understands and strengthens our learning channel. 1. Know yourself. To fight against something, you must first know what you are fighting against. Take some time to carefully think about your weaknesses and vices. Deep down, we are all aware of what they are, and our altered hearts point us to the causes of our turmoil and unhappiness. 2. Realize it's a long journey. Overcoming vices is a challenging and long process. Keep in mind that relapses are natural along the way. The important thing is not to give up and always return to the struggle of abandoning them. 3. Determine your motivation. Think about the valuable reasons that led you to want to quit the vice. The primary reason is to be happier, but each person may have other individual motivations, like saving money, improving health, or having better relationships. Always keep these in mind, especially during the difficult moments. 4. Set realistic goals. Define a challenging yet achievable goal. It should not be too easy, but also not impossible. Understand that conquering vice will require persistence and effort. 5. Start gradually. If you are deeply entrenched in a particular vice, start small. You don't need to quit all at once. You can set progressive goals, whether daily, weekly, or monthly, slowly working your way toward overcoming it. 6. Avoid risky situations. If you know your weaknesses and vices, and you are clear about wanting to overcome them, avoid situations that could lead you back to the vices. This might require changing certain habits and your environment to avoid temptations. 7. Distance yourself from enablers. Stay away from those who encourage your vice. True concern for someone's well-being means wanting the best for them, and vice is harmful and leads to unhappiness. Surround yourself with people who genuinely wish for your greater virtue and true happiness. 8. Seek help. No one can solve all their problems alone. Turning to others can be very useful, as there are likely many people who have struggled with the same vice as you. They can share their experiences, and you can learn from them. Family, friends, philosophers, and professionals can all provide valuable assistance. 9. Internalize the difference. As you experience falls from the vice, you'll begin to see a vast difference between the momentary pleasure that vices. Leave your comment. This is very important as YouTube understands and strengthens our learning channel. See you next time.